some of the pictures that go with his song, but it is nevertheless a very powerful piece. Here's Rolf, as you've never seen him before.
Some ordinary man with a baseball bat stands over them and bashes in their heads. They're babies. Helpless babies. Oh, he's very, very careful as he slits from infant navel up to chin line. At least I imagine that's the method. I've never really watched the way a mother would. Perhaps I should have done, then I could tell you every detail of the peeling of the skin and of the dumping of the smashed head, little naked bleeding body in an ever-growing pile upon the ice. Then some designer comes along and says, that outfit looks so cute and we could sure create a fashion out of him. So the caps and capes and coats and gloves and stoles and knee-length boots are all promoted in the glossy magazines. And all the crappy little souvenirs that flood across the market, little seal with button eyes and with a corkscrew up its grommet, and no mention of the slaughter on the ice. Perhaps a postcard of a bloody trail of naked little carcasses lying there and rotting isn't nice. Shall we take this callous killer and dispose of him together, you and I? Does no good to smash his head in, although that would please me muchly, but another 10 would come to earn his wage. No, the only way to do it is to shun the sealskin product, leave it lie and rot in warehouse and in factory and boutique. Maybe next year at this time we can face the spring together with a picture free of infant killing baseball batting. With the knowledge that the bottom's dropped right out of all this misery and kids have got a prospect of a family of their own in the years they have ahead. Shall we do it, you and I?
That is amazing, Rolf. That is an extraordinary poem that you wrote.
You wrote that a long time ago.
Well, I was coming back on a plane from Vancouver in 1971 and they showed a news clip. They said, at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning on the ice in the St. Lawrence mouth of the river, the baby seal hunt starts. And they showed graphic pictures like that, but in full detail and animated, movie pictures. And it sickened me to such an extent I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I got a bit of paper and I started writing down my thoughts, and I just kept thinking in another 2 hours it'll start, or in another hour and a quarter it'll, or another 50 minutes, and 20 minutes was awful. And I got to Heathrow and the seal hunt had already started on the other side of the world, and I had this finished poem. And I got it published in a couple of conservation magazines, but didn't light up any interest anywhere. And
but it's extraordinary how it fits that kind of driving beat. I mean, it actually works really well in that mode.
I was recording with my mate Steve Lima. He's well known for all his remixes and his the wonderful things he does with electronic music. He's called Futuro on the web. You can find him, see all his mixes and the wonderful things he does. And I read him the poem and he said, we've got to record it. So he got all that sound and the baby seal sounds and everything behind it, and the drum beat and keyboards, and a friend of mine, Shining Bear, played didgeridoo throughout it, that wonderful haunting sound.
So where can it, you can't at the moment, and we're going to come to this in a second, you can't buy it in say HMV or somewhere?
I put it on MySpace.
It's on MySpace.
If anybody wants to see it or to listen to it, they can't see any pictures on it, but to listen to it, go to MySpace and all the details will be there as to where you can download it.
They can download it, yeah.
And all the money from any downloads is going to the International Fund for Animal Welfare, which is...
Well, we have a plan, Rolf. We obviously, you've given that performance and we played in those pictures and stuff and gave it a bit of enhancement. That's obviously on DVD now. We're going to send that to all the major recording companies on Monday with our recommendation that they get on board and turn it into... They'll obviously want to put their own production values in, but they make it into a single, because we've done a few soundings today from people in the business, and some have heard it and some haven't, but the assessment is that could go to number 5 or higher in the British charts.
Wow.
So we like, if you're happy for us to do that, we'd like to pump that out into the music business on Monday. Is that cool?
Well, see, I was moved to do something when I saw the McCartneys, and I thought that takes a lot of guts to do that and to put all your enthusiasm where your mouth is and get out there and do something. And I thought, well, I've got to do something with this. And so we started trying to move it and trying to get on with it. Didn't know quite what to do, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's tremendously powerful. I mean, it's a tremendously powerful piece of art, whatever you think about.
Well, it horrified me to such an extent. It's been with me for over 30 years.
Well, you feel the passion.
Absolutely. Now, look, the other major thing that's happening with you at the moment is another art exhibition.
Judy, we need to mention the Canadian government.
Oh, do we?
Just briefly,
We haven't really discussed the ethics of it, so that
we just need to say that the Canadian government say that the seal hunt is humane, economically viable, and based on sound conservation principles, and it says, contrary to misconception, seal pups aren't hunted.
Well, they have registered veterinary people who observed film of the seal hunt, and they reckon that something like 79% of all the hunters don't even check to see that the baby is dead before they skin it. And if that's humane, then I don't know what is, you know.
They deny that as well. They say
course,
that what you witnessed there is the involuntary twitchings of a recently killed animal, but it's open to question, is it not? Okay.
But it is, as I say, it's an extraordinary piece of work, and really incredible congratulations on it. It looks and sounds fantastic. Now let's just move on to art, because you've got this major exhibition running again at the Portland Gallery, haven't you?
It's a new gallery for me at the Portland. It's just near the Ritz. It's on Bennett Street, you know, the last one before Piccadilly if you're coming up from St James.
Is this the one with the picture of your father in it?
Yeah.
Can we have a look at it?
Yeah, my dear
That's your old
dad,
man? I'd be very rude and ask how old your father is there.
He was about 79 there.
79 when that was painted.
Yeah.
What's he called?
Cromwell.
Cromwell.
Cromwell
Harris.
Fantastic. Mum called
He's got
him
a very wise
Cromgy.
face. Yeah.
And you do a lot of impressionistic stuff. Here's another one on display. So you call it Scarlet Dress for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
I love that.
I take a lot of shots out of the car, people waiting to cross the road at traffic lights, and that's just along Piccadilly going into London. And there was another fella in between the scarlet dress girl and the fella in the blue shirt, and he was looking straight at me like this, going, huh? So I got rid of him. He's out of the picture.
And you've got you did some stuff from photographs you took in Australia, that you've got this left-hand paddy.
Yeah.
This is your favourite, isn't it?
Yep.
That's a
he's got
beautiful piece.
Such an amazing face, and the skin is blue-black, and you look at his eyes and you cannot find whites of eyes anywhere in there. It's so dark.
Dark shadows.
And the Queen,
high
of course.
cheekbones and magic. I love the impressionistic background of those trees there. And the fine detail on his face and little whiskers on the chin.
And the one that got you all over the TV news and stuff, the Queen, I imagine.
Wow.
She liked it?
She liked.
I don't know. She never says, you know, she can't. I mean, she's had over 200 official portraits. Never says, I love that, hate that. Never says. But when she left after the second sitting, she said, it's a very friendly painting, and I took that as a sort of pat on the back.
I think that's a nice compliment.
It felt really good. She was lovely.
Well, Rolf, thank you for coming in and doing that great performance for us. In terms of those works, and there's some terrific stuff in there, the exhibition, as we said, is at the Portland Gallery, Central London. It runs until July 29th. And the song, or the protest poem you heard, Slaughter on the Ice, is currently available on Rolf's MySpace page. We're going to try and get it in the shops if the record companies will work with us. And that's it for this week. Okay. Jurassic Park's Sam Neill on Monday.
And, of course, Jennifer Aniston. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
On
Bye.
Monday. Bye-bye. Bye.